G'day footy fans and welcome to Boothy's AFL Fantasy Dream Team podcast. Well, Boothy's ball getters last week dropped a little bit and was ranked 36,000th out of 150,000 in the comp now almost. And that was on the back of the second week in a row having a player get 1 point for me. Last week Joel Selwood got 2 points before he got knocked out early. This week Thomas Bugg, thank you very much, knocked out Callum Mills, who was in my defence, and of course now I've got rid of Callum Mills. And for Callum Mills, I've brought in Hibbard, as you can see there in the midfield. And of course, by putting Hibbard into defence, I then swapped him with Witherden, who was in my midfield on the bench, who got 96 last week after 77. So now Witherden becomes my D6 rather than Mills, because after a concussion like that, Mills probably won't play, and if he does, he'll be ineffective. So I'm left with a midfield, a defence, I should say, of Doherty, Adams, Nunes, Lloyd, Hunt, I'll give him another chance, and Witherden. And my emergency, of course, is Scharenberg, who may not even play. So, let's have a look at my score. It was 2,057, as I said, on the back of getting 1 point from a defender. And my captain, of course, Zach Merritt, didn't quite work out for me either, which was unfortunate. So my midfield now is Dangerfield becomes my captain after having the birth of his son on Tuesday night. A potential Crows father-son, that would be interesting. He'll be my captain again, so he'll be a happy dad and playing Brisbane. Tom Mitchell, who's been in great form, will be my vice. Zach Merritt had a poor game last week, obviously 156 as captain. Is in my midfield. Bontempelli's in good form again. Brad Ebert was a bit down. Hopefully he'll lift against his old club West Coast. Clayton Oliver on the back of Melbourne's injury should be an important midfielder. Hopefully Dom Sheed's been in good form and Pau Pepper's been pretty good. And of course, Hibbard came into my team to be my emergency in the midfield. Pickett's not playing. Now, in the ruck, I've still got Longer after all of that, and Wits. Now, Longer actually got 91, and this week he plays Richmond. And Nankervis doesn't usually dominate, so Longer should be okay against Richmond, I reckon. So Wits and Longer there, and of course, Bruce may play to get some money, may not. Now, the forward line. Heaney's been excellent. McRae I've brought in this week. Billings, who's been solid. Ryder, who was excellent last week. Wallace, who has been a bit down, but still a good player. And Burton, who's been very good. And Parsons is my emergency. Greenwood got rested for the Crows so they could play Scott Thompson. First game for the year, the old veteran. So the trades I made were basically here. So Mills came out for Hibbard, as I said to you, for the Kangaroos guy, who's become my midfielder. And Aaron Black, who got dropped from Geelong after one game, for McRae, who's a dual position player. In fact, they're both dual position players because they are very valuable. Now, don't forget for the next round as well, I reckon there'll be some more dual position players coming into the system. So you might be lucky with some of those as well changing. So dual position players will be announced next week for the next round of players. But I've got quite a few already, as you can see, particularly my forward line. It'd be nice if Parson became a mid-forward, but it's unlikely. So there you are. So there's my team. It's solid. I'm just hoping for the third week in a row I don't get someone knocked out in the first 5 minutes of the game, because that has cost me 100 points with Joel Selwood, of course, and then Callum Mills probably cost me 80 or 90 as well last week. So we'll see how we go. I'm still doing quite well, ranked in the mid-sixes. My goal is still to finish in the top 1,000. We'll see how we go. I've got some good form players there overall. Jaden Hunt worries me. Witherden, who knows, with a third gamer. Pau Pepper doesn't always do the job and Longer. But my forward line now is pretty solid. I mean, Wallace is disappointing there, but the others are solid. So hopefully I can get a good score this week. My goal is always 2,300, and that will put me up the rankings towards the top 5,000 initially, and then eventually in the top 1,000, hopefully. I can only hope. Keep making comments. I love it. And I know some people have bagged my team, but, I'm hanging in there and doing okay. Didn't get my captain right last week, going back to Dangerfield against Brizzo. Mitchell would be a fine captain too. Zach Merritt, probably okay. Probably have a great week this week after a poor week last week. Doherty's another good captain if you want to go down that path. And look for dual position players, I said to you. The couple of cheap guys coming in, check for the green lights tomorrow on Friday at 4:30 or 5 p.m. Around that time, so you'll have a couple of hours before lockout. Go the Crows against the Bulldogs, and it's bye for now.